Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
How to ask for business help and actually get it. Now, this is episode number 40 in season 3 of the Online Prosperity Experience. And if you check out episode number 39, which I did yesterday, where I was talking about why you have no business because you are not asking for it. I just got an email from a friend who was telling me, wait a minute, so you're saying that people can just simply go out and ask for business, but how do they actually ask, and what ways can you suggest, that people can ask for business and actually get it? And I just thought, you know what, maybe this will be a good sequel to episode number 39. So episode number 40, we're going to be giving you 7 simple ways to actually ask for business help and get it. And if you didn't check out yesterday's podcast, let me just give you a brief outline of what I spoke about yesterday. We're just talking about how a lot of people don't even ask for this business and how they don't create subscription setups within their business in order to retain the clients that they already have. Because as we have established in business, if you've been around these parts long enough, you'd understand that it takes much more effort to convince somebody who doesn't know you to buy from you than somebody who already knows, likes, and trusts you. So this is the biggest elusive thing that a lot of small to medium businesses and coaches and some consultants have not really grasped to understand, that if you don't ask for the business, you don't get it. You know what I mean? And they put themselves out there, so to speak, in networking. They put themselves out there, so to speak, in social media, and they put themselves out there, so to speak, with Google ads and all that shebang bang. And if you want to find out what actually works in these parts, you can look me up. I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on LinkedIn, but my business is, all right? So you don't need all these places in order for you to get the business that you're looking for. You just need to have strategies, and I'm about to lay them down for ya in this episode of simple ways to actually ask for business help and you get it. One thing that you should understand is those who don't ask, they don't get. A lot of people don't end up buying from you just simply because you're not asking for the sell. You're not putting out calls to action out there in order to tell people the next logical step in order for them to start working with you. All right. So I did mention networking earlier on. Obviously, it's all about putting yourself out there, but it's important to actually remember that you're not making a nuisance of yourself in order to win friends and influence people. So I'm going to be telling you exactly how you can actually ask for business help and actually get it. And I understand when you're growing your business, it's a tough endeavor. I've been trying to work around this for the past 7 years, and I've had somewhat of some success, and also the people that I've worked with have had some success. And that's the reason why I show up on this podcast every single day, Monday to Friday, just so that we can give you tips and tactics and strategies that you can literally use in order to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And in the process, we can decide whether we want to work together or not. But what I'm giving you up front is value, and eventually I then ask if you want help implementing what I'm putting across to you. And that's my ask. That's all I ask for, especially when I'm working with people. And that's my call to action. Do you need help implementing the identification of your market? Do you need help to clarify your message? Do you need help to determine the media that you're going to be passing, using to disseminate that message? Do you need help creating your lead capturing funnel? Do you need help creating a nurturing system? Or do you need help with your sales conversion strategy? Or do you need help to deliver a world-class experience for your customers that you're getting? Or do you need help increasing customer value so that you have people buying more from you? Or do you just need help with a sales conversion strategy? All of those things you can find on my website, www.livelongdigital.com.au, and there would be maybe a landing page where you can start your journey with us so that you can create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. See what I did there? I asked for business. I'm giving you value up front, but I also have an ask. And if you're doing the same within your industry, it makes it super easy for people to reciprocate if you're putting value out there. So that's one aspect that you need to be making sure you've got going on in your business. Are you providing enough value that when you ask for people to do business with you, it's a no-brainer, okay? And I can understand you're probably cold calling potential clients out there and you're having people hang up in your face. I mean, seriously, who needs to be disturbed, especially this day and age where people can get all the information they need online? You know what I mean? And maybe you're sending out hundreds of emails without getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out. I'm looking into this. Oh, somebody from my team is going to reach out, and you probably have been wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without generating any qualified leads. And I know this for sure because I just got off a call with a client who was bragging, thinking that I would commend them on all the money that they're spending on their ads, where they're leading those ads to their homepage. And that's a complete waste of money. You can literally take that money and throw it in a bin, instead of having to route it through Google, and that will be much more effective, okay? Because if you're just doing ads and you're directing that traffic to your website, stop it right now. And if somebody has advised you to do that, call the cops on them, because that person and Google are stealing from you. Okay, you wouldn't let anyone come into your house and steal your sugar. Why are you letting somebody come into your business and steal money from you in broad daylight? If you're paying somebody to do ads for you and those ads are just going straight to your homepage, stop it right now. Call the cops. That person is a criminal. Okay. If you're not going to call the cops, let's go on with the podcast then. All right. And if you're doing all these things, sometimes it can feel like no one wants to buy what you're selling. You know what I mean? Because you haven't given people enough value to make a decision whether they want to work with you or not. And when you actually rely on your business to pay rent and put food on the table, man, this could put an enormous strain on your emotions. And you're probably terrified to have to give up on your dreams and maybe return to a safe 9-to-5 job with your tail tucked between your legs if you can't bring in new clients. And they tell you, oh, you should network and put yourself out there, but when you show up to these networking events, everybody is all in their little circles, and it's very difficult for you to break in, and you only have maybe 45 minutes to make an impression, and people don't give you that opportunity. So this podcast is just going to give you simple ways to actually ask for business help and literally get it, okay? Because this is what we get as well. When you are growing within your business, you always have a lot of people that are asking, for favors, asking for a few minutes of your time and coffee time or whatever it is that they're thinking of out there, etc., etc. I can understand everybody's out to fend for themselves, but you as a coach and a consultant, after listening to this podcast, you definitely be armed in such a way that you will definitely get the help that you want to grow your business, to identify your market, or to clarify your message without appearing like a nonsense out there, okay? Because I can understand everyday ambitious people, they take their problems straight to the top when they're asking for help with people. Or maybe, can I just get a few minutes of your time, or a virtual coffee, or whatever they call it these days. And they go to people that are the busiest within the business, usually CEOs or company leaders, most of whom they've never met before. Right? A lot of people are asking for 10 minutes of your time to show them your product when you haven't even introduced who you are or why anybody should care. I mean, of course, networking is all about putting yourself out there, but it's important for you to actually remember that making a nuisance of yourself is no way you can win friends or influence any people. And it takes only one opportunity to make a lasting impression, and you don't have a second chance to make a first impression. Okay, so you need to go in, properly, properly trained and properly ready to be of value to the person that you're going to be asking help from, or the person that you're going to be looking to collaborate with, etc. You see, all the people that are running businesses, they're so busy. CEOs and leaders, they're busy running their business, they're busy hiring new staff, or maybe balancing books and driving growth. They don't have time for yet another person who comes with half-baked ideas which don't even relate to them. The people that I work with, the CEOs and leaders of small to medium businesses that are already making 2 million and above, it's a lot of money it's a lot of time to really get your business working up until that level. And the last thing you need is somebody who brings in their unsolicited call or email which doesn't fit into the program of creating revenue for your business. So the CEOs and leaders that I talk to, they often get between 20 to 30 unsolicited requests every single week, especially on advice, people wanting to work for them, or partnerships. And many of those come from people with whom they have no connection with, or maybe it's a loose connection or a very shallow one at least. And the worst ones are when, people are pitching them with products or pitching them with a joint venture or partnership without any thought of how any of those things are going to benefit, first of all, the company they're reaching out to, or the individual, that they are looking out to. And I can understand there's a lot of ambitious people out there that are go-getters, and they're told, you know what, you have to go out and get what you deserve, you know what I mean? And they come in knocking, with saying, I'm gonna come in for everything that I was told I was never gonna get. But if you want to really get help, and if you really want to get people on your side, you literally have to create for and relate to whoever you're going to be reaching out to. Because naturally, as coaches and consultants, I know we're ambitious people, and naturally ambitious people want to get the attention of other people with power and influence. You know why? Because then they can just maybe have that power and influence rub off of them. It doesn't work like that. All right, it takes years to create history. All right, it takes 21 years to be 21 years old. So if you see somebody who's at a place where you are, maybe just watch them from a distance and then see how you can be of value to them, instead of you just reaching out to them and say, hey, can you mentor me? Hey, can you be on my podcast? Hey, can you do something for me which is valuable for the asker, but has got nothing to do with the person that you're asking that request from. I mean, yeah, you can get away with one or two people saying yes, because there are the people that are just kind like that. But a lot of people will shut you down, and you start thinking that maybe people are rejecting you, but it's probably your approach. And that's the reason why I'm going to be telling you, how to actually get to, ask people for help and really get it, from people that absolutely want to help you and want to see you prosper, so to speak. Okay, so there's a statement that says, ask not what the world is going to give you, but ask what it is that you're going to be giving to the world. All right, I frequently reach out to busy people who should maybe not have time for me, but I succeed in connecting with them nonetheless. You know why? Because I bring in goods, I bring in gifts. Okay, even in the Bible, those people that came to see Jesus, you know what I mean? You know why they got first preference? Because they came bearing gifts. What are you bringing to the table in order for me to leave what I'm doing, which is bringing me money, instead of listening to you that is taking away from me? Because even if you're not taking away money from a high level person, time is equated to money, especially the higher you go. Okay, so I can connect with people nonetheless. You know why? Because I bring in something to offer. I probably give them a free report, or this podcast in and of itself. You could be a CEO of a high level company. We haven't spoken, but you've listened to this podcast, and now you're like, you know what? Maybe I need to talk to this guy and ask him a few questions regarding what it is that I'm working on right now. Because in so much as in business, execution is everything. What are you bringing to the table? So when you ask someone for help or advice or an opportunity or a JV or to come to their podcast, just keep these 7 tips in mind. One thing you should not do is don't overshoot the mark. And what do I mean by that? Because we always want to go for the boss. We always want to speak to the high-ranking officer within any business. Have you ever seen when something goes wrong in a commercial environment, everybody wants to speak to the manager immediately? You know what I mean? And that's entitlement. You are not owed that audience with the manager because he is behind the scenes managing new stuff, balancing books, and driving growth for the business. The last thing they need is to, look at somebody who is not informed enough to have the respect for somebody else's time. So most of the time, going straight to the top is not going to be the right move. You know what I mean? Because most of the people that are at the bottom are actually empowered to help you with all the things that you might want. If you want somebody's time, maybe their secretary has their link to their calendar. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. It's small things. You don't have to, undermine the gatekeeper, because the gatekeeper is there for a reason, to protect the important person behind that gate. So if you want to make a useful connection at any company, begin by finding the right person to talk to. It could be the first person who picks up the phone. Hi, Sally, how's it going? Or, they answer the phone and say, this is Live Long Digital. You're speaking to Samantha. And you're like, hey, Samantha, what's happening at Live Long Digital today? They're more than happy to talk to you. And the more you know exactly the ins and outs of what's happening at that company, the more you can get in. Because the gatekeeper's job and mandate is to stop any unsolicited calls from coming through. And that's what they're paid for. So you can never circumvent that unless you've actually done something, that makes them feel important. All right. So if you're selling maybe IT services, target somebody in operations. Don't go for the CEO, because maybe the CEO doesn't even know what happens behind the scenes. And if you're pitching maybe an applicant who's checking, maybe a remote setup or a tool or CRM, target HR or, the culture department of that company. And then find a way to make it worth, while for the person to connect you at their next meeting. The best thing that you can do in order to get your foot in the door is to make somebody feel special. Make somebody feel like they know an inside information which they can talk about at the next board meeting. And now, if you overshoot to the mark, where else are you going to go? But if you start from the bottom, you at least have 2 or 3 layers that you need to, grow up, instead of having rejection immediately from the person who you thought was actually the decision maker. So what do? You do your research and you personalize your request. You just don't show up at other people's businesses, or you just don't show up at somebody else's house or somebody's party just because they've got balloons outside on their mailbox. Have you made the effort to find out, how this organization works? Who does what and what's important to the person that you're contacting? Because if you just show up blind, you know what I mean? It's a sure way to get ignored, because you're not the only person that's soliciting these people. So if you just rock up to a vegetarian party with burgers, do you think people are going to welcome you? No. It doesn't work like that. No one wants to go the extra mile for somebody who just wants their time and hasn't demonstrated the willingness to actually invest in their own time first. Nobody wants a clock sucker. Don't go out there just demanding without bringing something to the table. And speaking of which, the third thing is offer something in return. What are you bringing in order for us to pay attention? You know what I do? Okay, let's look at this in this scenario. I'm a avid whiskey drinker, and I drink whiskey every sort of Saturday. If you show up on my door, even if you don't say a word, and you drop a bottle of whiskey with a note saying, "Hey, can we have a meeting on Friday?" I will ring you straight up and say, "Come, let's have a meeting right now." So what are you bringing of value to the person? It only happens when you have actually done your research so you can personalize the request. That was point number 2. In order for you to offer something that's of value to the next person, you need to have investigated what it is, what matters to them the most, and offer something in return. What benefit can you provide to the person in the company that you're contacting? I found that I get the best results when I stick. I don't know if you've read the book Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. If you haven't read that book, please read that book, okay? So this is what he says: create value for others first and find a win-win. For instance, when you're asking for some sort of an endorsement or referral, show the person that you've promoted his work in the past, or write a review for them on LinkedIn, or comment on their stuff online, just so that they're familiar with your name. Give value first. What are you bringing to the table? Because you can't just ask and think you're just gonna get into people's diaries without offering first. And once you've done that, make it easy for people to help you. Right? If you leave your phone number for people to contact you and people can't get through to you, do you think they're gonna try again? If you leave an address and you're not even at the place for people to show up or send the help that you're asking for, do you think they're going to try again? Make it easy for people to help you. Make it easy for people to contact you. Make it easy for people to do business with you. Make it easy for people to buy from you if that's what you're asking. And if there's any legwork that needs to be done in order for your help to be fulfilled, offer to do all the legwork that is required to fulfill your request. If you want an introduction, you might provide a paragraph or whatever, to help the other person to use, so that they can just copy and paste that into an email and then they move it across. Give that person your business cards so that they can just pass them along to the next person who they think might need your services. Make it easy for people to refer work to you. Make it easy for people to actually vouch for you by having a really good online presence. Because I'm not going to vouch for you if I look up and I can't even maybe look at the work that you have done for me to at least put or stake my name with whatever branding that you're putting out there. And pretty much once you've gone and gotten the attention of the person that you want to request, a favor from, be clear about what you want, and don't hide behind the word partnership or virtual coffee. People are done with words like that. If you want a partnership, outline what is reciprocal about the benefits upfront, not that you are benefiting. Make sure the arrangement is more or less 80-20, 80% favoring the person that you're doing who's doing the favor for you. And I find out most people reach out to me about partnerships. They want to sell stuff to my company or to my clients, and yet they're not doing the same, or they can reciprocate that for me. No thanks, bruh. I've worked hard to build this list. I've worked hard to build this business. You just want to, rent my list? No way. That's not a partnership. That's bait and switch, bruh. So if you explain what you want, to refer business, or if you explain that you're going to be referring business to my company instead, maybe you're likely to get a meeting. But if you just want take so that you can use my credibility and pass it on as yours, that ain't going to fly. And also, when you're asking for favors from people, leave time for people to make a decision. Don't ask for a meeting straight away, or tomorrow, or just immediately. Because that's what a lot of people, especially salespeople, do, because they love to have maybe a concrete ask or a genuine, let's have a meeting tomorrow. No. But it rubs people in the wrong way, because most successful organized people fill their calendars way in advance, and they can't make free time on short notice. Right? Just like myself, I've cleared out all my Fridays so that I can do all the work that I need to do, to align with my team and to align with our client work and all that stuff. Throughout the week, I'm doing podcasts, I'm writing books, I'm connecting with clients. But Friday, I can't schedule any meetings with anyone. So if somebody calls me on Thursday and says, hey, we got to meet tomorrow, I can't make time for them. No. Nobody has, nobody can do anything on short notice. And if you actually give them a link to your calendar so they can choose a time of their own convenience, that will actually give them a better impression of who you are and actually want to work with you a whole lot more. One of the things that a lot of people are doing is either, hey, can you help me find a job? Or can you help me find clients? Or, you know what I mean? Just asking things that are not relevant to the person that you're going to be, receiving the favor from. Because just because I'm connected or I've got a network, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be out there working for you. It doesn't work like that. You see, there's a perception that, busy executives with good networks, they actually pay attention to who's hiring or who's looking for whatever services for other people while they're out there networking. Nothing can be further from the truth. Each and every person is worried about themselves. What's in it for me? So if you ask somebody that you don't know that well or with whom you've been out of touch with to look out for a job for you, obviously that's a self-serving interest. It's got nothing to, reciprocate on their part. Why would they do that? What's in it for them? Instead, like I've been saying, do the homework, research yourself, and then maybe ask for an introduction, not have people, guilt people into saying, oh, I don't have a job because you haven't done anything to help me in that aspect. You don't want to guilt people into doing stuff for you. People have to do stuff for you out of their own will. Because people that are high-level executives, people that have built businesses, they've usually done it by themselves. They haven't had help from anybody else. So for them, yes, they would want to help you, but you also have to show skin in the game. So all high-level executives that you're reaching out to and looking just for CEOs of bigger companies and maybe other successful people with a lot of, years of experience or whatever, they have a lot of demand in their businesses. They have already got schedules that need to be looked after, and they're selective about who gets their attention. Sometimes even their family has to be scheduled in. So if you're seeking a connection that's all about you, maybe your goals, that's a recipe for failure. And that's the reason why nobody's responding to your outreach. You know why? What's in it for them? Are you showing them that you can help them by actually helping them? Let me tell you something. If you really want to get ahead, do your research. Think about the person's time and what they need, and then make a first great impression. All right? I mean, at the end of the day, each and every one of us, our real goal is to help our clients. We want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. So that's exactly what that high-level executive is doing. Nobody's just sitting around waiting, on their desk for an email to come from you. Nobody's sitting around waiting for their phone to ring so that they can be sold, onto whatever new thing on the marketplace. And if somebody has been successful, they are not allured by shiny objects because they know shiny objects don't last long. They manufacture shiny objects for people that want instant gratification. They don't, get high on their own supply. No. It doesn't work like that. So if you're looking to actually create a business that's profitable and enjoyable, which definitely comes with, you being able to generate hundreds of qualified high-ticket leads like clockwork. So you never have to rely on having to cold call or beg people to hire you. I suggest that you schedule a call with me, all right? And the way to do that is just to jump on my website, www.livelongdigital.com.au, and there will be a position for you there to schedule a call. Because once you've done that, we'll be able to see what it is that you're doing within your business. And I can guarantee you we can start creating diverse recurring revenue streams to skyrocket your profitability and ensure that your business remains 100% bulletproof. No matter whether you are in a high or low, even during market downturns, global pandemics, and sweeping lockdowns, or even if you don't have partners that are helping you out. Once you create these systems within your business, my friend, you can go out there and network and expect your automation to actually generate leads for you or book calls for you in advance. Let me tell you something, man. Networking is all about putting yourself out there. Yes, I acknowledge that. But it's important to remember that making a nuisance of yourself is no way to win friends and influence people. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au